Good morning, students. Flowers of Paradise Public School, Malpe. Presentation 9th Standard Medieval India and Political Transition. Lesson Part 2. In this lesson, contributions of Rajputs, arrival of Turks, Muhammad Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori, and political implications of these rulers. Kindly note the image. Prithviraj Chauhan and Muhammad Ghazni, then Muhammad Ghori. Then in that time, see the map of India. See uppermost level. It is the northern India part. Then entire Pakistan and Afghanistan region. Altogether, this area is covered. Ghaznavi kingdom and even the earlier medieval India and political transition time map of India. And that is the reason all that green area colored. It shows Ghori and Ghazni's implications in those times. It was mentioned on here. Rajput dynasties, contributions of Rajputs. The Rajputs who ruled during the last part of ancient and the early part of medieval period encouraged the art, culture and religion liberally. And that contribution is very important. We are discussing in these slides, upcoming slides. Rajput kings themselves were scholars. Kings like Bhoja, Munja have written various literary works. King Munja had poets Padmagupta and Halayuda in his court. King Bhoja had extended his royal patronage to the Jain scholars. So Shantisena, Prabhachandra, Suri, Ganapala during his rule. At all points we are discussing in upcoming slides. Jain scholars were very famous and popular, and Shantisena, Prabhachandra Suri and Ganapala during their rule they have given wonderful contribution for the literature and poetic field. The poetic works like Jayadeva's Gita Govinda and Bharavi's Kirtarjuniya and Bharat Hari's Ravanavada, Mahendra Pala's Kavya Mimamsi were written during the rule of Rajputs. Dramas like Rajasekhara's Bala Ramayana and Karpura Manjari and Bhavati's Mahavira Charita and Uttara Ramacharita and historical works like Kallana's Rajatarangani and Jayanika's Prithviraja Vijaya and Hemachandra's Kumarapala Charita are the important works, especially Prithviraj Raso by Chandabardai. It was the famous poetic stories whatever written in the olden days, and even it was travelled for more than 600 to 800 years, and even now also in Rajasthan they are playing it in local folk dance, folk style singing, and in that they are saying about Prithviraj Raso. Prithviraj ke almost Shurvir ki kahaniyan. Like that story they are saying in the Chandabardai stories, in Lavanis, and like that even today also it is alive in that area. And Bhojaraja Prabandha by Ballala are the noted biographies of Rajput rulers and Gujarati, Rajasthani and Hindi languages developed during this period. The educational institution of Nalanda, Kashi, Vikramashila, Ujjaini received support from Rajputs. So that all we have to realize contributions of Rajput is more, and they are very good writers and they have given so many contributions for even in the poetic field, literature field, even in the entire fields of education. So what we can say is their contributions is great, and even today also we can know about Rajaput dynasty stories that we have to realize. Even Rajaput dynasties, Rajaput monuments and Rajaput ports, entire India and in entire world, people traveling from different places to these Rajaput dynasty areas to know about history, culture and all these monuments, and so that people visiting here and almost understanding the wonderful constructions of mega constructions of that time. Rajaput kings constructed spacious forts in Chittor and Mandu, Ranthambore, Jodhpur and Gwalior of northern India. They built places in Jaipur, Gwalior and Udaipur, and Dilawar temple and Vimala temple and Luna Vasai temple were built on Mount Abu. Mount Abu is a place in Rajasthan. It is almost people visiting that area. It is in between the triangle area of this Rajasthan place, and the weather condition is so good, cool, so that people are visiting that place. And even the historical monuments also built in that area by the kings, dynasties, earlier dynasties. More in this area they have constructed. And all these are beautiful and known for the artistic architecture of that time. The Chandelas built Kandaraya's temple in Khajuraho, and Shiva and Vishnu temples were more in number among the temples built during this region. And especially, even they also encouraged for painting. See the image given on here, see, painting, Mount Abu Basadi also, one paint they have given. The painting style, it is in textbook, see there. The painting style of this period is classified as Rajasthani painting style and Pahari painting style. And Rajasthani painting style can be seen in Mewar and Bukaner and Jodhpur and Jaisalmer and Buni. So Pahari painting style can be seen in Kasoli. So Jammu and Garhwal. Like this, Rajaputs have a special place in the history of India. There also, they made very good painting in that time. That we have to realize. And in textbook 11th page it is mentioned on that. If you got the paper already, textbook paper already, see the Mount Abu Basadi, it is given on there, page number 11. Please go for to see it. So now understand, the arrival of Turks in the 1999 afterwards, the Turks, because of hearing the writers of earlier, those who visited India, especially Al-Biruni, in earlier days, he visited India, such Huan San, several other writers, they visited India and they written in the books. By hearing that news, informations, so many countries are attracted about India and India's wealth. And that is the reason Turks also came to know that in India so much heavy, what we can say, proper, lots of, and even unconditional, and more in the imagination, gold and ornaments were in India found. Because of that reason, all other countries of outer skirts of this India, they want to attack India. Even Mongols, even Alexander also came from some far away earlier days, like that. So many invadings, and such invading in that, the arrival of Turks also one important. And these Turks came to India only with the intention of loot. And by defeating the small kingdom of Rajput kings, Turks built their empire in the subsequent years. The establishment of Turks rule, whose religion was Islam, was not completely unexpected. Arabs had made failed attempts to capture Sindh regions from the beginning of 8th century. So like that, Turks also came to India in the 8th century. Kindly note the image. Prithviraj Chauhan and Muhammad Ghazni, then Muhammad Ghori. Then in that time, see the map of India. See uppermost level. It is the northern India part, then entire Pakistan and Afghanistan region. Altogether, this area is covered. Ghaznavi kingdom and even the earlier medieval India and political transition time map of India. And that is the reason all that green area colored. It shows Ghori and Ghazni's implications in those times. It was mentioned on here. As I told, Ghazni looted enormous amount of golden ornaments and wealth to Ghazni. Though he did not build empire in India, his invasion showed the way to future turn and invasion to India. Similarly, the Valvar of Rajaput, who had become weak with internal rivalries, also got themselves only engaged. The next one from the Ghazni area, like that one nearest area, that was Ghor. Ghori, Muhammad of Ghor we can call him, or Ghori dynasty. From that Ghori area he was coming near to the Ghazni area, like that he was called as Ghori. So Muhammad Ghori, a Turk dynasty of Shansh Bani of Ghor region of Afghanistan, came to prominence and ended the rule of Ghazni dynasty. He ended the Ghazni dynasty and came to rule. And Ghiyasuddin Muhammad Ghor of his dynasty ascended the throne. So that we have to understand. He was the person came into power. Muhammad Ghor. To understand, Shansh Bani of Ghor regions of Afghan came to prominence and ended the rule of Ghazni dynasty, and Ghiyasuddin Muhammad Ghor of this dynasty ascended the throne. Understand? Ghiyasuddin Muhammad Ghor. And he sent his younger brother. Understand? He sent his younger brother for the invasions, Mujahideen Muhammad, to establish Turk rule in India. टर्क रूल को एस्टैब्लिश करने के लिए गियासुद्दीन मोहम्मद मुजाहिदीन मोहम्मद को इंडिया भेजता है. सो ही सेंट टू इंडिया. अंडरस्टैंड प्रॉपर एवरीवन. and he is called Muhammad Ghori by the historians. उससे ही मोहम्मद गोरी माना जाता है. So that is a very important point you have to understand. What is that? Ghiyasuddin Muhammad Ghor sent Mujahideen Muhammad to India to do invasions in India. And that person only called by historians Muhammad Ghor. Because in his order only is coming on here. So that it is acceptable. He started his first invasion by besieging Multan. He wanted to recapture the places of Sindh that were under the rule of Muhammad Ghazni, and he invaded Anilwada of Gujarat and got defeated there. And this defeat made Muhammad to change his plan, and he attacked Peshawar and conquered it. So understand, here what happens? Anilwada of Gujarat got defeated there in that war. His brother lost the war, and this defeat made Ghori to change the plan and conquered again Peshawar. He came and he conquered the Peshawar. That we have to realize. And Muhammad Ghor concentrated on Prithviraj Chauhan's attack, and Tarain War 1192, in that the battle was took place between Prithviraj Chauhan and Muhammad Ghor. In that battle, Muhammad Ghor lost the battle and ran away. So later he realized, and with the big military, he came again in 1192 CE, and Prithviraj Chauhan again Muhammad Ghor again met in the Tarain battle. And this time he had made a lot of preparation. The archers of Turks succeeded. The quick cavalry of Turks dispersed the Rajput army with the slow-moving elephants. And Bola and Govindarao, who were successful in the first Tarain war of Rajput, were killed in the war. And Prithviraj Chauhan was imprisoned and surrendered. Prithviraj continued the war. He never accepted surrender. And after the surrender, again he fought, and later he lost his life in the war. Muhammad Ghor later appointed his slaves in India and take care of the areas won by him in India, and Muhammad Ghori murdered while on his way back to Ghori. So understand the lesson and give an exercise part on here. Answer the following question. Write a note of Muhammad Ghazni. Explain the contributions of Rajput to the field of literature, and write a note on Muhammad Ghori. Write it and submit in the notes.